What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content as well as GLS content. Today, we also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, before we jump into anything, this is not a video with financial advice. I'm not telling you to chase anything or to buy anything. I am just comparing the kind of economic health or tokenomic health of each of the two main governance tokens. Actually, we'll even cover maybe even some of the stable coins that they have for SPS and GLX, and why GLX, in my opinion, seems to be a very interesting option, although there's a big caveat that GLX is unproven as a project. So I'll get into all of that in the video. Let's go ahead and start, though. I have the GLX white paper or GLS white paper open right now with the distribution schedule, but I'm going to actually flip over to SPS, and we're just going to go over to Splinter Cards here. So shout out to T-Hawks and the Splinter Cards team. We have, as it currently stands, roughly 1 billion SPS that is currently circulating in terms of overall supply that has been distributed. Now, part of, not this 1 billion, but not part of the 972 million, I should say. We do have some that has been burned from node licenses, as well as another 2 million here that has been burned from converting SPS to DEC. So with everything distributed so far, we're over 1 billion, and I think we're printing roughly 30 million SPS per month. And of course, a lot of these faucets are planned to go on for the next 60, well, not fully 65 months. That was the initial, but they're probably anywhere between 3 to 4 years now at this point. So when we're looking at that, 1 billion SPS out of a total 3 billion, right? Max 3 billion that has already been printed, a little bit more than 1 billion. And then when you take a look at what utility there is when it comes to the stable coin, and for those who may not be familiar, there's this whole flywheel concept that both SPS and GLX are trying to emulate from the Terra Luna project. Now, Terra Luna project had a terrible backwards compatible or like two-way burning, which caused the downfall and the death spiral for that project, because Luna token, which is the governance, and then UST, which was the stable coin, what ends up happening is when you can burn back and forth and then you lose confidence in both tokens, you can have that death spiral where both of them essentially go down. Here, you can only burn SPS for DEC. You cannot burn DEC for SPS. What you can do is burn DEC in-game in Splinterlands for various things within the game, right? Whether that's promo cards, whether that's guilds, whether that might be land coming up. So there's a lot that, this is the whole stable or product-backed stablecoin approach that Matt and team are going for, which is actually very innovative in my opinion. So I want to see, I'm curious and excited to see how it plays out. So you got that 1 billion SPS and then over 6.3 billion DEC that is currently in circulation. A lot of that was overprinted during the airdrop. And so we are working our way through that now, and we'll eventually make our way through it with land and all the other burn mechanisms that they're planning to implement later on this year. So that's kind of where things stand for SPS. There's a lot of SPS out there, and there's a lot more DEC that we need to burn through before we can start getting to that point where the flywheel kicks in and you burn $1, okay, market value of $1 worth of SPS. So it doesn't matter how many tokens, but just $1 worth of SPS for roughly 1,000 DEC. I think it's actually 975 to avoid any kind of like exploitative bot arbitrage or something. So when you compare this now to where GLX is, with GLX, big difference is it is only 2/3 of the total maximum supply, right? It is 2 billion versus the 3 billion for SPS. So right off the bat, there's going to be less GLX tokens. When you take a look at the future partnerships, I think this is one of the most important things, at least right now. There is 1.4 billion, so roughly 70% of that, which is being held. I don't know if it's in the DAO, but it's up to the decision of the DAO on how it is distributed for future partnerships, right? Up to 100 million per partnership, and that'll be decided by the team and the DAO overall. So 70% is just being set aside. And at this point in time, I'm recording this early February 2023. There was only one project on the docket, which is not part of this future partnerships. It is the Genesis League goals, which is the one right above it, right? And at this point in time, we haven't heard, we don't even have a working Genesis League goals game yet. We do have, we saw some gameplay. I think they're planning for a beta early April and a launch sometime in Q2. So hopefully we'll get that at some point. And obviously we're still very early in 2023. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have other, partnerships announced at some point later this year. But for the purposes of this video, I'm the the time frame that I'm looking for is probably the next 6 to 12 months, or maybe we'll say the rest of 2023. We just don't know if those partnerships are going to come in and if the distribution for those partnerships are going to come in. So at least within 2023. So where does this get interesting then? Well, when you remove that 1.4 billion, that means the maxed amount between all of the other tokens or all of the other distribution methods is 600 million, which is 60% of where SPS is right now. And we're not even close to getting there, right? We're not even close to distributing everything. And if you can see here, if we go down to the GLG play to earn rewards, this is supposed to be distributed over 65 months, but I also have the GLG thing over here. So you get 15 million pre-sale tokens, right? Or tokens that are given out for the pre-sale pack owners. So 7.5 million was for phase 1. So another 7.5 million was for phase 2. So that is probably out and about already. So I'm sorry, the first part of that 7.5 million is out. And then I believe they're going to start the other 7.5 million at some point once phase 2 gets going. So you have 7.5 million from that. And then once the game gets launched, we will start distributing the rest of that over 65 months, right? It's gonna be 85 million, probably distributed with a declining by 1% ratio over the 65 months. So as of now, I would say we only have 15 million tokens from that, and I don't think there's any way that we're gonna be even there's no way that we're over 30 million tokens probably by the end of the year. Again, I'm sorry I didn't do the math for you here. I'm just doing kind of rough high overview. Now, when we look at the staking rewards and airdrop, you can see here that these go for 12 months, and I believe they started either end of October or early November. And so by the end of the year, we should get 200 million from these. And I don't know if there's going to be other potential staking rewards beyond that, but you do get the GLGT token, which we're not going to cover for the purposes of this video. GLGT is similar to the vouchers in Splinterlands. So, right now, all that we really have, at least confirmed between now and we'll call it maybe November of this year, maybe November, December of this year, is the 200 million from staking rewards, 200 million for the airdrop, and then roughly 15 million plus some, rewards. So I would say that just from these three alone, staking rewards, airdrop, and the GLG game, we're probably going to be at 250 million tokens by the end of the year with a working game, right? Hopefully by sometime in Q2. So we'll have at least half a year of a working game. And then, of course, if there's any other partnerships, but we don't know. We haven't heard anything about that yet. So I'm going to keep that off of the schedule for now. Now, the other two things here are the liquidity rewards or LP rewards, and then the validator rewards. Now, with these, I do expect these to go live at some point because LP rewards, for example, they were talking about putting those out in November, December, and then obviously with the downsizing at the company, I'm sure that got affected. This thing got delayed, but we should be seeing LP rewards at some point. And so again, if you're just going to look at this and say 65 months, that's roughly 5 years. Let's just split it to make it easy. That's 20 million per year, right? Obviously, it's going to be front loaded because it does go in a declining nature. And then you could probably say the same thing with validators, right? Although we have not heard anything about validators, and I would say we're probably not going to hear anything with validators until after the game is out. So I would, again, my guess, rough time frame is going to be sometime in Q3, which means you would only get half the year for this. So between now and the end of the year, I can see 10 million. I mean, fine. Let's actually just go crazy with it. So let's just say 20 million for both of these between now and the end of the year, if they both get implemented between now and sometime early in Q3, for example. Again, I think that's being overly generous. But what am I getting at here? That's another 40 million that'll be issued. Now the DAO is one that gets 50 million on day one. And we don't know when this is going to be set up, or actually it might even be set up already, but we don't know when this is going to be available. Now, the thing is, this is locked up and the community or the stakeholders will need to decide what to do with those funds. So I have a feeling they're going to be sitting for a while, right? And that'll be 50 million on day one and then the other 50 million set aside. So I actually don't even want to count the DAO, but even if we did count the DAO, we'd be sitting at roughly, was it 250 plus 20, that's 290. We'll just call it 300 plus another 50 million. So that'll be 350 million tokens in circulation by the end of the year with at least one working game, and assuming that the validators are up and running and potential other partnerships down the line. So again, what am I trying to get at here? I'm not saying to go ape into GLX. I know the APR still looks juicy, but you should never be chasing yield, right? That's just, that's a dangerous game to play. I'm not saying that you can't make capital or you can't make money off of doing that. I'm just saying this is not financial advice, and I am not telling you to do it. Do your own research and make decisions for yourself. But the point is that you can see that the supply overall for GLX is going to be smaller right off the bat, simply because there's not as high of a maximum supply. And then more importantly, 70% is locked up in future partnerships. Then you have another 50 to 100 million that's going to be locked up in the DAO. So there's just not going to be that much GLX out there to begin with. On top of that, and this is where things get probably a little too speculative for me, but and where the risk comes in is the fact that there is no GLUSD, similar to the DEC on the Splinterlands side of things. So we don't know where the GLUSD utility is going to be. We don't know where the burn mechanisms are going to be. I'm assuming there's going to be similar things to Splinterlands, but we don't know when that's going to be set up. But what that does allow for, because there's not this overhang of a ton of DEC or GLUSD, in this case for the Genesis League Sports ecosystem, you'll have to burn GLX right off the bat in order to get GLUSD. And I'm assuming there will be a certain amount of volume needed, right? Just movable, tradable volume needed in order to rent cards, purchase things, whatever the case is, for purchase cards, purchase maybe even packs, right? Rent cards, just be part of the ecosystem right off the bat. So we're going to start burning GLX, and GLX is at 2.5 cents right now. So the reason that I'm actually making this video, and let me go over here to Hive Engine, is because you have both of these tokens that are trading, at under 3 cents at the time of this video, right? So when you're looking at this, again, I'm not telling you to buy, I'm not telling you to ape in. It's just interesting because their prices are so similar right now. And then you think about the future utility that could be coming in to both sides. Now, at the end of the day, am I saying that GLS or GLX is a better token that has higher upside? No, actually, I'm not. I think that there's a lot of things on the supply side that make it very appealing. But what it lacks is the demand side, because that is a huge unknown. And the Genesis League Goals, which is the first game of hopefully many, is still not proven to be a game that's going to attract people and be actually something fun to play and addictive that creates this, tight-knit and very supportive community in the same way that Splinterlands has. Now, I think there's a lot of Splinterlands carryover that will come in and support the game no matter what. And I do have a lot of faith in the team to be able to deliver a game that is just as good as something like Splinterlands, the auto battler with the GLS or GLG game, I should say. It just may take some time, right? So we don't know how that's going to go. But to be fair, it still is unproven in the way that they are trying to approach it. So that is a risk. On the other side, and I'll close out with this. GLX is like the baby of SPS, right? Splinterlands, at the end of the day, or Steam Monsters, right, is the company that owns and runs the game Splinterlands, and now they're branching off into sports with Genesis League Sports. And what they're trying to do, starting with this airdrop of GLX, is give as much utility to SPS as possible, right? So they are very heavily trying to push as much value to SPS, and you can see for those following Splinterlands that there's going to be a lot of SPS utility potentially coming in the future, whether that's like staking requirements or land potentially, who knows? But the other part is that there's also the business side. There's the idea that many, they talked about this, and I made a video about this a while ago with their Invenium platform, where they will probably require in the future for anybody that wants to work with them or partner with them to either stake a ton of SPS or maybe buy and pay for the services that Splinterlands offers on the Hive blockchain, their whole infrastructure, with the SPS token. That's not going to happen with GLX, right? So that's going to happen with the SPS token. So there's a good amount of, again, potential upside, potential utility, potential demand for SPS as well. So again, I'm just trying to lay these both out next to you, I'm trying to lay them out for you side by side so you can see and make a decision on, what you want to do, because I know a lot of people are selling GLX for SPS or selling SPS for GLX or aping into one or the other. And again, I'm not telling you what to do. It's your money. Make a decision and then take responsibility for it. I'm just trying to give you the overall kind of viewpoint when you see them, because I think there's a lot of people, at least that I've talked to in the community, that still don't understand understand the full tokenomics for both of these projects, how they are interlinked, and how they are also very independent of each other. So hopefully this was helpful. If it wasn't, if you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to dive in further with you there. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. So I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.